Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Mr. Ray Interviews. On today's show, I have one of the best pro wrestlers from around the world and one of the stars of Lucha Underground, Ricky Reyes. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
I have a couple of questions that I wanted to ask you, if that's okay with you.
Of course.
Who were some of your inspirations growing up that led up to you being a pro wrestler?
Like when I first started watching wrestling, it was just watching WWF, and it was, all about like Hulk Hogan and the big characters and Ultimate Warrior, guys like that. They kept me like intrigued and interested in it. But as I got older, I started preparing in high school to become a professional wrestler. So I wanted to go up to the wrestling team. So I went to try out for the team and I made it, and I started wrestling like in my sophomore year of high school. So I started really kind of noticing more like the Bret Harts and Scott Steiners and Japanese style wrestling, because they use amateur wrestling moves.
Right.
Started watching old tapes like Bob Backlund and stuff like that. So those are the wrestlers like through high school and stuff. I kind of I kind of looked up to more, probably like Bret Hart and Owen Hart at the time when they were feuding and stuff like that, because I just enjoyed the clean technical wrestling, which is what ended up kind of creating patterning my style after stuff, and then like Benoit's and Guerrero's and stuff like that. So it kind of changed, like everything kind of changed and evolved into certain things, certain styles that I liked. So.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What was your first match like? Your first ever match. What was that experience like?
Nerve-wracking, needless to say. It was, I ended up setting the ring up, and one of the guys didn't show up. I had my gear in my car, so you're always supposed to carry your stuff with you, and the promoters asked, do you have your gear? And I said, yeah. They said, all right, great, you're going to do a match tonight. And I was like, whoa, all right. And just kind of like thrown in there last minute. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to kind of sit and panic too much. It's just enough to kind of put things together and figure out what I wanted to do in the match, and then just kind of went out there and did it. Once you just move in the ring, and I train a lot when I still do to this day. Like, I like to get in the ring and bump around and move and stuff. So once you kind of got thrown around in the ring a couple times, it was familiar to me. So just kind of go through the motions and what I trained for. So it wasn't as nerve-wracking, I guess, once I got going, but it was very nerve-wracking leading up to it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Who are some of your favorite people to work with?
I guess have different wrestlers that I like for various reasons. I always like wrestling a guy like Samoa Joe. Like we've always had good matches and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Daniel Bryan, because guys like them and like Rocky Romero and that, we all trained together in the New Japan dojo, so we kind of are very familiar with each other. So, and not a lot of people can do the style of wrestling that we were kind of taught there, and it was kind of our base, what we kind of grew up on learning, which was like the kind of a shoot style of wrestling, like jiu-jitsu based ground wrestling, and kind of like a kickboxing striking style. So kind of what's just kind of evolved now. A lot of guys are doing it now, but in like 2002 to 2005, we were kind of the only guys doing that stuff. And until you get the ring with somebody that kind of understands it, what it's really about. It's a little hard to kind of catch that kind of magic that you need. But I like wrestling anybody. Like I like challenges, so that's why I like wrestling Lucha Libre style, because the Lucha guys are kind of to some degree one-dimensional. They can only do that style. So I can do that style, but I like to mix my style into it, and I find that most Lucha guys like wrestling me because it gives them like a different dynamic,
Right.
It makes their stuff a little more effective because it complements my style. So.
Okay, so you've wrestled all over the world. Where would you like to wrestle that you haven't wrestled yet?
I don't know. I mean, I guess Australia or China. I mean, China seems to, companies seem to be popping up here and there in China, and Australia seems to be kind of on the upswing right now. They got a couple companies I've spoken to that are pretty big time out there. So, and New Japan's there now, so I'm sure business is doing well there, or at least on an upswing. But I would say somewhere like that, like somewhere that I've never been before, obviously would be China or Australia. Those would be the top two that I have on my radar right now.
Okay, so right now you're signed to Lucha Underground. What's that like? What has that experience been
Fun.
like?
I'm sorry?
What has that experience been like?
It's been great. And the first 3 seasons we got done rather quickly. Actually, 2 and 3 were back to back. Were taped back to back. And the company, the network loves the show. And when we're showing a new season, we're always the top rated television show on the network. So that's always a good feeling. It's, regardless of what you hear, certain, people like that idiot Meltzer or, other, basically him, and then it just kind of trickles down. People just take what his news and they repost it on their sites and, hoard out like it's something, if it has any substantial facts to it, which it does not. He's just giving his opinion on things, and a lot of times he just says, "Oh, well, I heard, this, that, and the other," and that's what's going on right now. And a lot of times it's the furthest thing from the truth, But coming from somebody who works at Lucha Underground, like, we are in no, danger at all, and let's clear that up right now. Like, there's no, the show's not going to happen, and this, that, and the other. It's a timing thing. You're dealing with Hollywood.
Right.
We're not a wrestling company. We're a television show about a wrestling company.
Right.
There's a big difference there. We're not even in the pro wrestling game or business. You know what I mean? We're in the TV business. So
Right.
the big, huge difference on how quickly our seasons come around. If we do like some special live events or something, they're strictly because somebody wanted the show there and they wanted to pay for it to happen. Where you don't take like Modern Family on the road. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like there's no like house shows for The Office. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
these things don't happen. You know what I mean? So it's they're not performing in front of a live audience that has to pay to see them. They're a television show, right? They're taped and then they're put on television, and then that's how the network makes money. So it's just funny. It's funny when I hear these morons like Jim Cornette or something like they let fans in for free. Yes, we do. They're part of the prop. You know what I mean? Like, people want to see this show live because they want to experience what they see on television live. And we don't sell tickets because that's not the business that we're in. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, a lot of the network people, they don't even understand how much money they could make and should be making off merchandise. You know, they put out a line of merchandise and they're just like, yeah, all right, just do that, like casually, you know, and then it's gone the next day, you know, and then I have people and all of us have people, hey, I need Lucha Underground merchandise. And I'm like, oh, it's sold out. Like, I don't know what to tell you, you know. And then you tell somebody in the office, and they're like, yeah, you know, they just kind of roll their eyes, like, well, we're not in the t-shirt business, don't worry about that, you know. And I'm like, all right, well, just let you know, like, you know, it's a completely different animal, you know, and people, we're the first of this to ever happen. So it's, for the wrestling world, you know, they look at us like, you know, why aren't you doing this, why aren't you doing that? And then, but from a TV perspective, you know, from the people who run the television company and that run Lucha Underground, like, we're doing everything exactly the way we're supposed to be doing it, you know,
right.
Show up to work, bust your ass, and then, you know, you make your product better. That's what we're supposed to do, and that's what we do, you know. So it's interesting in that sense because we're the first, and you know, nothing's ever been like this. Nothing's ever been done like this before. So, you know, it's very trial and error right now. They're just worked out our contracts and redid them. You know, going into season 4, where they free us up because they know that, you know, that they're just more concerned about a certain company taking talent as opposed to us working different TV outlets. You know, so,
right.
So they kind of like realize that, all right, well, we can't, you know, so much keep you from doing these things, just don't go, you know, here, you know, and everything will be fine. So they're getting better at that, you know.
Right.
They understand now. Well, we can't give you guys house shows. We can't give you, you know, different avenues of income. So we'll just allow you to be free and to go out and experiment and, you know, and look at other avenues, but without taking away Lucha Underground, you know. So as long as our commitment with Lucha Underground is fulfilled, they don't mind us going other places. So, and that's perfect, you know.
I mean, it's something different. I love this show. I love watching it every week that it comes on. I'm a huge fan, so it's something different, you know. And that's, in my opinion, as a fan, that's what people need, something different, you know, because every other company is doing the same thing, you know. And Lucha Underground brings something completely different, and I think it's great. I have just a couple of more questions for you, okay?
Okay, no problem.
What do you enjoy doing on your off time?
I like to spend time with my son. He's 3, and my wife, like, she's a yoga instructor and a personal trainer, so her schedule's a little crazy, like mine. You know, like I'm always going to the gym and going to wrestling practice and traveling and stuff. So a lot of times we just like to stay home and watch The Office or something, you know, or on TV and just kind of relax. We don't have very many days where we're doing nothing, you know, the entire day. So when those come few and far, we try to take advantage of them and just kind of plan like a day in. But you know, I'm always out, you know, airports and, you know, events and traffic, and it's just like the last thing I want to do, honestly, is go somewhere where there's lots of people. Like,
right.
People ask me, like, hey, don't you go to the games or something? And I'm like, that's the last thing I need to do is pull up to another stadium or something, you know, and
yeah.
fight traffic and be around people. And I'm a pretty private person anyways, just by nature. Like, I go to the gym and, you know, I just kind of stick to myself, and I don't have like a workout buddy. I don't go to the gym to like socialize like other people. Like, I just kind of like to be alone. It's very rare. Like, you get a lot of alone time, you know, even though like I travel alone, but you know, you're around people and stuff. And so what I like to do is just nothing. Is try to do nothing for an entire day. But mostly just my life revolves around my son. So just I take him to things and, you know, do stuff. We go out to lunch or dinner, breakfast, whatever together. Just try to make, you know, days where I can spend time with him and not have to be go somewhere.
Right. Do you have any advice for young people who hope to get into the wrestling business?
Yeah, I mean, like I do seminars, I host seminars, and like I got, I got a big one at Monster Track 3, April 20th and 21st. I'll be part of that super camp. But a lot of times, people ask me whether they're just starting out or they want to start, or whatever. Like they take a seminar. A lot of people don't understand how much work goes into becoming successful in wrestling, and there's different levels of success.
Right.
If you enter the wrestling business and just say, I just want to go to WWE, that's the only way I can see myself as being successful, then you might not stick around very long, because it's a completely different animal than being a world traveled independent wrestler. It's, I mean, you can go to WWE and you can be there for X amount of months or years, and they may not want you anymore, and then you may feel like, well, what's the point now? And there's a whole nother world, there's a whole nother animal out there, a monster of pro wrestling that that you can venture off to. But the thing about that is, even as a world class, pro wrestler, world traveled wrestler, sometimes there's those dips, and the shows aren't, quite, to par or whatever, and that can mess with someone's brain, after a while, kind of, you almost feel like, what am I doing, and if you don't really truly love it, it's pretty easy to just say, I'm just not gonna do this anymore, and kind of fall into that type of funk or, depression of some kind, and just say, I'm just gonna do something else, and rightfully so, if you feel that way, you definitely should walk away. But I mean, if you really, really love this, then nothing's gonna stop you from doing it, consistently.
Right.
And if you really love it that much, training and learning and practicing and preparing, for matches and going on the road and trying to get your name out there, that's not work. It's not. It's because you have to be around it, so you'll be successful. The worst is when I try to explain something to somebody and they have an excuse after excuse after excuse, and then I just tell them, like, okay, look, you just don't love this as much as you say you do. Here's what you love. You love the idea of being successful. That's what you love. You don't love professional wrestling because no matter what event I have, I'm just prepared and looking forward to that. And to get, to be booked out as much as possible. Like my schedule's very consistent, very, very busy. Every week I'm, 4 different states. The travel, that's a grind. You know what I mean? Like that's the hard part. And it's not even the getting there; it's the getting home. That's the part that takes a toll on you, because then you're tired, you're sore, and there's traffic, or your flight's delayed, and all you want to do is I just want to go home. And that starts to mess with you. But the preparation and getting ready for shows and events and on a long travel week and stuff like that, like that's the exciting part, because of the unknown. Like where you're going and what kind of match you're gonna have. And so honestly, like when guys, if they have to ask you repeatedly, like, what do you got to do to get to Lucha Underground or get to Impact Wrestling or Ring of Honor, it's like I don't even take time to talk to those guys, because they're worried about all the wrong things. When those companies want you, they'll come get you. They'll find you. If you sent your stuff to one of those companies and you really want to wrestle there, it's, emailing a certain somebody and hassling them isn't going to get you a job anywhere.
Right.
If you love pro wrestling, you'll go out and you'll make a name for yourself, and one day you'll go, well damn, I'm kind of the thing right now, and it'll just kind of hit you, like, I'm really doing this, because you're just so engulfed in what you're doing, you almost forget to step back and look at it like, wow, I'm kind of a thing, or, you know what I mean? Like, and that's just because you just love wrestling and you love doing it. So I mean, for somebody that wants to get into it, they need to ask themselves. You know, they can't ask me, they can't ask another person in WWE or Ring of Honor or whatever. You know, because like we've all made it to different levels for different reasons, and there's no real formula of success. You know, if you love pro wrestling and you really want to do it, you'll be successful. You know, whether it's just an independent wrestler, or you get to Japan a few times, or you go to WWE, you know, and then there's all different levels. So, I mean, if someone's interested in doing this, then my advice to them is ask yourself, do you really, really want to do this? Or is this just something you want to try out? Because once you get in it, and then, you get you get knocked down a couple times, it's not that fun. And then that's where you're going to figure out whether you should be doing this or not. And if you even have that doubt even slightly, like maybe I should be, just leave. Just stop it, because it gets too intense, for somebody that doesn't really love it.
All right, and my final question: do you have anything that you would like to promote? Any upcoming shows or matches that you want people to come out and see?
Yeah, I think this weekend I'm in Brooklyn and the Bronx Saturday, in Brooklyn, and Bronx on Sunday in New York, and I'll be doing it's called Mass Productions Lucha Libre shows. So a couple Lucha Libre shows, and then Tuesday I leave for LA to go start work for Lucha Underground season 4, and that'll be a consistent 4-week back and forth from LA to home for 4 weeks, and then after that I have just like a whole bunch of independent stuff everywhere. Like I'm not even sure. I'll be in Dallas, Texas, March 22nd, Pro Wrestling Revolution, and then I should have a seminar and a show the next Friday and Saturday somewhere in Texas. Honestly, don't have my book in front of me. I don't know. I mean, all my stuff's on social media, so like Facebook, Ricky Reyes, or Twitter at Ricky Reyes01. So I mean, you can follow me on those things, and I update that on a daily basis with event information and seminars and stuff.
Okay.
Like that.
Well, I just want to thank you again for being on my show, and I appreciate that. I hope everything goes well. Stay safe, enjoy yourself, and just have a great weekend.
All right. Thank you very much.
I'll talk to you soon.